My name is Nathan Hochman. I'm a candidate for Los Angeles County District Attorney. I'm standing here in front of the Hall of Justice, in front of George Gascon's office, demanding that George Gascón terminate his chief of staff, who starts today, Tiffini Blacknell, as she is the most unqualified pro-criminal chief of staff in LA County history. Now, by appointing Tiffini Blacknell, George Gascón is sending messages to his own prosecutors, to the law enforcement officers who serve this county, and to the public that he is prepared to double down on his pro-criminal agenda that has put the interests of criminals first and victims and the public second. What is that message to these three groups? His own prosecutors, law enforcement, and the public. Let's start with his own prosecutors. Tiffini Blacknell has never been a prosecutor. She was a deputy public defender. And she is someone who has said publicly that the police are barbarians, that they are an occupied army. And she has worn a T-shirt that she has posted on her social media that says, "The police are trained to kill us." This is the person that George Gascón has selected today to be his chief of staff. And so what message does that send to the over 900 prosecutors that he leads? The message is very clear, that experience doesn't matter. And that's not surprising, since George Gascón himself has never personally prosecuted any criminal cases in his entire life. And it also sends a message that amongst those 900 hardworking prosecutors who collectively represent thousands of years of experience and background bringing criminals to justice, he couldn't find any one of them to elevate as his chief of staff. Instead, he has chosen someone who is not part of their ranks, who has not actually tried and prosecuted a criminal case, who's not run an office in the district attorney's office, a section, a unit. He has chosen someone outside the district attorney's office who for her entire career has put the interests of criminals first and the public and victims second. So again, his selection of this is a slap in the face to his own prosecutors that go to court every single day and try to bring justice to this county. And that is there not surprising that when there was a vote of these prosecutors back in the summer of 2020, and they were asked, do you support the recall of your boss, George Gascón? Over 800 of these prosecutors, representing 97.8% of them, voted to support his recall. That is, again, not shocking. And George Gascón's message today, by appointing someone like Tiffini Blacknell, never a prosecutor, to be their representative, to be his chief advisor, is again a slap in the face to his own prosecutors. But more than that, to law enforcement. It is a slap in the face to law enforcement. Imagine if you're the chief of police of the LAPD, or you're the sheriff of LA County, and you're trying to recruit officers to work in one of the more dangerous jurisdictions out there, to work the long hours, to do the commutes in to serve the public here. How are you going to do it? Because you already have a DA who has enacted the most pro-criminal policies out there. But you say, don't worry, that DA can't possibly make a mistake and select as someone as his chief of staff, someone who is anti-police. And now we have the selection of Tiffini Blacknell, someone who has said publicly that the police are barbarians, that they are an occupying army, and wore the T-shirt that said the police are trained to kill us. What does that do to the partner of the DA's office, law enforcement officers, the tens of thousands of law enforcement officers in this county who count on the DA's office to prosecute their case, to be a partner with them in bringing criminals to justice? That the chief of staff of the district attorney would go ahead and call them barbarians, call them an occupying army, say publicly that the police are trained to kill us. That is an anti-police message, a pro-criminal message that Tiffini Blacknell, by her selection today as Chief of Staff, makes unmistakably clear to the tens of thousands of law enforcement officers that she is not their partner, that George Gascón is not their partner, that the DA's office is not their partner. Now, that's not true, by the way, for the 900 deputy district attorneys who go into court every day to bring justice to the public. The problem is their boss and his chief of staff are sending this message every single day to law enforcement. And what's the third message? So you have a slap in the face to his own prosecutors, a slap in the face to law enforcement, and yes, a slap in the face to the public. George Gascón has already enacted the most pro-criminal policies in LA District Attorney County history. And his selection today and bringing in Tiffini Blacknell as his chief of staff tells the public that he is going to put the interests of criminals first and victims and the public last. That is his message to the public today. So I demand, I insist that George Gascón today terminate Tiffini Blacknell as his chief of staff. I say that not only as a candidate for the LA County District Attorney position, but I say that as a citizen of LA County. As a citizen, this appointment offends me. This appointment stands in the face of actually bringing criminals to justice. As someone who is so anti-criminal in their public, anti-law enforcement in their public statements, could possibly have been elevated to chief of staff. So DA Gascón, do the right thing for once and terminate your chief of staff, Tiffini Blacknell, today.